to create a temperature difference. Here we're using the temperature difference to create electricity. Now because our water only comes out at 165, Mr. Carl reasoned that he could use that water to steam a different substance, a substance with a much lower boiling temperature than water. That substance is a refrigerant, the same refrigerant that's in your refrigerator. It has a boiling temperature of about 140 degrees under normal pressure, and if you can put it under pressure, you can get that to boil as low as 40 degrees. Now if you take a look at these units, you can see they consist of two big tubes with the generator unit on top. If we could take the caps off of those tubes, what you would see is a big tube with a bunch of little tubes that go through the middle. Now the left side is our evaporator. We put our refrigerant in there, and then we run our hot water through all the little tubes. That hot water is hot enough to boil and steam the refrigerant, and it's the steam from the refrigerant that turns our turbines. It spins it at about 13,500 RPM. That goes through a reduction gear on the generator unit up top and spins that at... Sir, could you take that outside, please? Now it spins our generator unit up there at 3,600 RPMs, which produces approximately 200 kilowatts of power. To give you an example of how much 200 kilowatts is it can power approximately 100 homes, as long as those homes aren't real energy hogs, that is. Now once that steam has done its work for us, it comes back through the right tube, and in the winter we just open that up to our cold winter air. That's plenty cold enough to condense that refrigerant back to liquid form. During the summer we just put our cold creek water in there, and that condenses the refrigerant back to liquid form. Then we just reuse that same refrigerant over and over and over again. Now it's important to know that our refrigerant and our water never come in contact with each other. That way we're not polluting our water source whatsoever. Now there is two main differences between our geothermal plant here and every other geothermal plant around the world. The first is that we're using the coldest water at 165 to produce our power. The second is what we do with our water when we're finished with it. Now I would normally use that poster over there, but there's too many people to actually see, so I'll just explain it. But basically geothermal power has really been given the green technology tag because it doesn't put any greenhouse gases into the air. The problem with them, however, is that they're destroying their aquifer systems underground. Because they're getting their water out at steaming temperatures or hotter, they use that steam and they don't pump any of the water back down to the aquifer. Or if they do pump water back down into the aquifer, they pump cold water down, and that's just as destructive as not pumping anything back down at all. Now here at Chena, we actually pump 100% of the water we use right back down into the aquifer at a maximum temperature loss of 30 degrees. The reason we can do that is because we're not using our water to steam. We're using our water to steam something else. So we're basically just running through our system for a short time before we're pumping it right back down. Now we pump that water about 3,500 feet laterally from where we pull it out. So by the time it mixes and gets back to where we're pulling it out, it's right back up to 165 degrees. So in essence, we're just reusing the same water over and over as well. We're not putting any greenhouse gases into the air, nor are we harming our aquifer. That's the way geothermal should be done, and if we have our way, that's the way the other plants around the world will eventually switch over to that. Now, as kind of an added bonus that wasn't realized when we first started this system, is, well, first of all, the refrigerant that we use is from recycled refrigerators. There's plenty of refrigerators laying around, plenty of refrigerant, so that helps us not only clean up the planet a little bit, but also reduces our cost for how much refrigerant we have to put in there. Second, it takes about 1.5 years before we actually have to switch to new refrigerant. By the time that 1.5 years has gone by, that refrigerant has gone from liquid to gas, who knows how many times. But in the process, basically it loses a lot of its toxicity. So by the time we're done with the refrigerant, it's almost completely inert. The refrigerant that we use, and that's used in all refrigerators these days, is called an R134A. It's the least ozone depleting refrigerant.